You're against the genocide that's happening in Palestine, right?
Of course. What about you, same person who's talking to themselves?
Yeah, it's horrible. There's babies that are literally being killed every single day.
Okay, that totally didn't sound like a setup for a totally disingenuous argument. Let's see where this goes.
So how do you feel about abortion?
Jesus, fuck.
I'm pro-choice all the way. My body, my choice. Oh, so you support the protection of certain babies, but not other babies.
Hold up there, pumpkin spice latte. Are you really sure that this is the approach you want to take to this hypothetical argument you're having with yourself?
Well, the babies in Palestine, they're actually alive. And babies in the womb are not?
That was a bold move by Bible Camp Barbie, isn't it?
No, they're not alive. They're just clumps of cells. Why do we need abortion then? If a baby is not even alive, there's no reason to kill them, right? Well, fetuses inside of the womb are dependent on other people to live, whereas the kids in Palestine that are being killed are alive and are outside of the womb and not dependent on anybody to live. Children are still fully dependent on their parents to survive and other adults to survive when they're outside of the womb. I don't think that's a fair thing to say.
Did you just cut yourself off in an argument with yourself?
Let's be morally consistent here and protect all children from genocide. That includes children in the womb.
Oh god. Okay. First off, some people are really talented at the banter where they play two different characters in the same scene. And I'm sure you have talents too, of some sort. And maybe one day you'll even show us them on TikTok. But since we don't have that to talk about right now, let's talk about this. First things first, is this you?
You're telling me that supporting a people group that have experienced some of the most lethal forms of racism is white supremacy? If you would ever open a history textbook, you would see that the Jews have occupied the land of Israel for thousands of years, before Palestine even existed in the Roman occupation.
What was that? What was that again? About, something about moral consistency on the babies and shit? Like, I swore you could have just said something about, moral consistency. And the example you use is that Israel genociding the babies in Palestine is the same as abortion somehow in your sweet, simple, precious little mind. But here, you seem to be asserting that you support the country that you just said in your split personality video was genociding all of the babies. That's basically the same thing as abortion, which you assert is wrong. And you support them because of a misinterpretation of your favorite fairy tale book and your inability to understand the difference between the Jewish people and the country and government of Israel. Now, I'm just a simple, humble man, but I'm having a lot of trouble following that moral consistency line here that you're drawing. But moving on. It should be really easy to win an argument with yourself when you get to invent a caricature that you're going to argue with that's even more mentally inept than you are on just a regular Tuesday, and yet you still didn't manage to pull it off. It's pretty bad when you have to cut off your opponent's mic and abruptly end the debate when you're the only person in the debate. You might want to rethink your positions when your idiot alter ego still gets the better of you. And here's the thing, it's not that Israel is genociding babies. It's that innocent people, adults, men, women, children, teenagers, they're literally being bombed out of their fucking homes. Their hospitals are being bombed. The refugee camps Israel told them to go to are being bombed by Israel. These are families being torn apart, losing everything they have. There is no parallel, no similarity, no remotely wild, hypothetical thought experiment where that situation has any relevance to the topic of a medical procedure that is made between a woman and her doctor for reasons that don't fucking concern you. And there's no baby, there is no life involved. Legally, it's not a person until it's born alive, so it's not a fucking baby according to the law. Genesis 2:7 talks about the breath of life, breathed into his nostrils. That is when he became alive. Life begins at first breath. So if it's in the womb, it's not a life according to your magic sky daddy either, which is probably why the Old Testament punishments for causing harm to a woman that terminated her pregnancy was a lot less severe than, murdering said woman. So to insinuate that having an abortion is the same thing as fucking genocide is asinine. Then you go on to imply that sentient, thinking, feeling children is the exact same thing as a fetus, which requires a living, breathing human body to maintain its existence, simply because that said sentient child might need its fucking family to survive. Orphans fucking exist, right? Sentient, living, breathing children that don't have a mother and yet somehow continue to exist. There's lots of them out there. Israel makes more of them every goddamn day. Those two things, not not the fucking same. And here's the thing, you can't be compelled to use your body to keep anybody else alive. I can't compel you to give me a kidney if I need one. You can't even be compelled to give your newborn infant blood if it needed it to survive. So what in that simple little mind makes you believe that it's somehow different and a woman should be compelled to use her uterus, an organ in her body, to sustain something that isn't even a fucking person and may never become one or be viable as one? Like, you don't have to believe in abortion. Don't get one. But it is fucking sociopathic to use genocide you clearly don't give a shit about as a comparison to justify your shitty political and religious ideologies about what you think women's choices in healthcare should be. It's fucking gross.